Imagine living on a tropical paradise only to be forced to leave forever, your home reduced to a site for devastating nuclear experiments. This isn't a dystopian movie. It's the tragic reality of Bikini Atoll, a Pacific island transformed by one of the most terrifying chapters of human history. Bikini Atoll, once an idyllic paradise, is now a place synonymous with nuclear destruction. During the Cold War, the U.S. was engaged in an arms race with the Soviet Union, seeking to develop ever more powerful nuclear weapons. Bikini Atoll, part of the Marshall Islands, was selected as one of the primary sites for these nuclear tests. What followed would leave this island forever scarred by radiation. In 1946, the indigenous population of Bikini Atoll was forcibly relocated by the U.S. military, under the pretense that they would return once the tests were complete. Little did they know, their island home would be changed forever. Operation Crossroads, a monumental event in history, took center stage on July 3, 1946. This was the point when humanity took a daring leap into the atomic age, showcasing the raw power of nuclear weapons. The test, part of a series intended to assess the effects of nuclear explosions on naval vessels, unfolded against the breathtaking backdrop of Bikini Atoll, surrounded by the azure waters of the Pacific. As the sun illuminated the horizon, a 23-kiloton atomic bomb known as Able was carefully released from a plane. There was a collective stillness in the air, anticipation mixed with apprehension among the spectators and observers. Then came the blinding flash, a moment that seemed like an eternity, followed by a thunderous roar that reverberated through the ocean. The explosive force swept out, distorting the sky as mushroom clouds billowed, signaling a new chapter in warfare. Witnesses looked on in awe and trepidation as the brunt of the explosion ripped through a fleet of decommissioned warships, their steel hulls becoming mere toys against the overwhelming might of atomic energy. These ships, once symbols of military power, were transformed into twisted wrecks, drifting remnants in the sea. This shocking visual testament marked an irreversible shift in global perceptions regarding nuclear capability. As the dust settled, scientists and military officials began to assess the significance of the test. Operation Crossroads was not merely a display of explosive might, but a harbinger of the geopolitical shifts to come. Nations were thrust into an arms race, driven by a desire for power and a fear of annihilation. The delicate balance of global politics was altered, as nations recognized the potential destruction held within atomic weapons. In the decades following Operation Crossroads, the world grappled with the implications. The echoes of that day are not just found in history books. They resonate in modern discussions on nuclear policy, disarmament, and international relations. The traumatic visual and emotional impacts of that single detonation serve as poignant reminders of the responsibility that comes with wielding such devastating power. As we reflect on Operation Crossroads, we recognize it as a pivotal moment, where humanity crossed the threshold of technology with all its monumental consequences. The vast waters surrounding Bikini Atoll once shimmered under the sun, but that tranquility was shattered by an unprecedented scale of destruction. From 1946 to 1958, 23 nuclear devices were set ablaze, each explosion a deafening roar that echoed across the ocean and through history. The first test, dubbed Able, unleashed a wave of devastation that altered the landscape, vaporizing coral reefs and altering the very fabric of this pristine environment. With each successive test, the power of destruction escalated. The Bravo test in 1954 unleashed an astonishing force, roughly 1,000 times more potent than the bomb dropped on Hiroshima. The fallout carpeted distant islands, leaving behind a desolate legacy. The transformation was not merely in terms of physical environment. Entire communities were uprooted, existing in a shadow of anxiety and expectation as they watched the horizon transform into a canvas of radioactive fireworks. Yet, amid this chaos there emerged a deeper narrative, one of scientific ambition and grave recklessness. The tests weren't just military demonstrations. They paved the way for nuclear research, intertwining progress with peril. As the last mushroom cloud faded, Bikini Atoll was left scarred, a haunting reminder of humanity's pursuit of power and the corresponding consequences. The legacy of these tests continues to ripple through time, reminding us that what began as an experiment in might inevitably spiraled into a profound tragedy, altering lives and landscapes forever, echoing in our collective memory. On March 1, 1954, the world witnessed an unparalleled display of destructive power at Bikini Atoll, known as Castle Bravo. This test marked a pivotal moment in the annals of nuclear weaponry, featuring a hydrogen bomb that would forever alter the landscape of military strategy and international relations. As the morning sun cast its golden rays over the serene Pacific waters, scientists and military personnel braced for what would soon be unleashed. With a yield exceeding 15 megatons, Castle Bravo shattered every expectation, becoming the most powerful nuclear device ever tested by the United States. The atmospheric explosion sent a towering mushroom cloud soaring nearly 25 miles into the sky, a chilling reminder of humanity's capacity for devastation. However, the catastrophic blast wasn't just a feat of engineering. It had dire consequences that resonated far beyond the immediate vicinity. The fallout whispered through the air, settling over islands and atolls far removed from the test site. Inhabitants of nearby regions, unaware of the dangers, were left to experience the silent repercussions of a nuclear storm. Radioactive debris fell like deadly snowflakes, contaminating lives and environments, marking a tragic chapter in the history of nuclear testing. At its core, Castle Bravo encapsulated the intense arms race of the Cold War era, showcasing the United States' resolve to assert dominance through sheer force. This test not only sparked debates about ethics and legality surrounding nuclear experiments, but also irrevocably shifted public perception, igniting fears of a future that could be shaped by an invisible threat. Activists and scientists rallied for disarmament, citing Castle Bravo as a harbinger of potential devastation beyond imagination. The legacy of Castle Bravo resonates today, challenging us to ponder the ramifications of such power. It serves as a stark reminder of the need for vigilance, diplomacy, and responsibility as nations navigate a complex web of politics and security. The images of that fateful day remain etched in history, not merely as marks of warfare but as cautionary tales urging humanity to seek peace amidst the shadows of destruction. The aftermath continues to evoke conversations surrounding nuclear policy, the environment, and human rights, conversations that remain ever relevant as we venture into an uncertain future. On March 1, 1954, the world bore witness to one of the most harrowing nuclear tests in history, Castle Bravo. The blast unleashed an explosive force that created a mushroom cloud soaring over 7 miles into the atmosphere, a sight both awe-inspiring and terrifying. As the cloud ascended, it ominously signified a new era of devastation, casting shadows over the future of nuclear arms and their implications. The aftermath of Castle Bravo revealed a horrific alteration of the ocean floor, massive craters created by the detonation's violent reaction against water. This unprecedented phenomenon lay hidden beneath the waves, cloaked in a shroud of mystery and danger. Those depths, once teeming with life, now carried the heavy burden of a catastrophic legacy, an oceanic grave that spoke volumes about humanity's quest for power. But what rendered Castle Bravo especially devastating was the unexpected spread of radioactive fallout. Scientists had anticipated a significant detonation, yet the magnitude far exceeded their forecasts. As the shockwave rippled across the great expanses of the Pacific, brilliant radiation escaped, swirling through the air and descending onto the islands nearby and beyond. Villagers found their homes shrouded in an unseen threat, their lives forever altered by invisible particles drifting from the epicenter of destruction. In a particularly tragic twist, the fallout reached even the waters frequented by innocent fishermen aboard a Japanese vessel. Oblivious to the impending danger, They ventured forth, only to discover their fate intertwined with the reckless ambition of distant powers. This grim scenario demonstrated the indiscriminate nature of nuclear fallout, spreading its poison far beyond the confines of the test site, ensuring that Castle Bravo would haunt the memories of those far removed from the event. The implications of Castle Bravo extended well beyond its immediate vicinity. It sparked international outrage and raised ethical considerations about nuclear testing. The vast blanket of radioactive debris challenged existing protocols and signified a major turning point in public perception regarding the safety and moral implications of nuclear experimentation. Discussions over treaties and safeguards were reignited, highlighting the dire need for responsible handling of such destructive technologies. Castle Bravo served as a brutal reminder of humanity's duality, the innovative spirit that seeks to conquer nature versus the devastating consequences of its unchecked ambition. As survivors and their descendants bore the scars left by this event, they carried forth a poignant message. The epitome of progress must be tempered by the wisdom of restraint. The shadow of Castle Bravo looms large, a symbol of both scientific achievement and catastrophic folly. In the tranquil waters surrounding the nearby atolls, a dark shadow lingers, threatening the vibrant life that existed before. The crew of the fishing vessel, Lucky Dragon 5, embarked on what should have been a routine journey, unaware that the tranquility of the ocean was about to be shattered. Following a series of nuclear tests, radiation enveloped the vessel, transforming their day of fishing into a haunting nightmare. The atmosphere shifted from hopeful to dire, as the crew realized they were in the epicenter of devastation. As the news of the incident unfolded, the residents of the atoll stared into the horizon, where once their ancestors found abundance. No longer were they the guardians of pristine waters. They became the victims of a catastrophic experiment. Radiation seeped into their very beings, altering their health, their futures, and their understanding of safety. Symptoms emerged that painted grim portraits of suffering, skin lesions, persistent nausea, and an unshakable sense of despair. Their community, once thriving, now faced an uncertain future plagued by illness. The response from around the globe was swift and incendiary. Outrage surged through the international community as details of the incident spilled into the open, illuminating the dangers of nuclear testing that had long been obscured. Environmentalists and human rights activists rallied to demand accountability, condemning not just the act of testing but the silence that often accompanies such hazardous endeavors. Calls for transparency echoed in political arenas, igniting fierce debates on the ethics of nuclear experimentation. As more individuals were diagnosed with radiation poisoning, the unity among affected communities grew. Support networks emerged, connecting the sick and their families with activists and legal advocates determined to fight for justice. The plight of Lucky Dragon 5 became a symbol, a sad reminder of the sacrifices taken in the name of science and security. Their stories fueled documentaries, articles, and discussions, a clarion call for change in how nations approach nuclear testing and the long-term implications for human health. Matthews and organizations joined forces, pushing for comprehensive research to mitigate the impacts on affected populations, advocating for a safer existence. In the quiet that followed the initial storm, those affected began to reclaim their narrative. No longer were they mere statistics in a report. They became voices of resilience and resolve. The struggle against radiation poisoning morphed into a movement demanding protective policies and reparations. As the world watches, the importance of learning from this tragedy cannot be overstated. The legacy of Lucky Dragon 5 serves not only as a warning, but also as a guiding principle, urging for a future without the specter of nuclear threats. Bikini Atoll, once a paradise of pristine beauty, met a tragic fate as a nuclear test site in the mid-20th century. The dazzling blue waters that once cradled vibrant marine life now mask a dark reality. For decades, the United States conducted numerous nuclear tests here, exploding bombs that would not only reshape the land but also poison the very essence of life that thrived in its vicinity. The immediate aftermath left an eerie silence. but unseen contaminants seeped into the soil and waters, betraying the island's history. The repercussions of these tests extend far beyond immediate destruction. In the years that followed, the U.S. government attempted to downplay the risks, proclaiming certain areas safe for resettlement. However, these claims were met with skepticism as the soil and water silently retained toxic radiation levels. The land that once flourished with coconut palms and tropical birds became a toxic wasteland shrouded in misleading optimism. Residents, displaced and longing for home, faced a grim reality where their sanctuary was marred by an invisible danger. Truly, the island embodies the paradox of beauty and devastation. Today, the specter of radiation looms over Bikini Atoll like a haunting shadow. Researchers and scientists continue to monitor the site, uncovering alarming truths about the long-term contamination. Although some areas might seem accessible, hidden pockets of radiation lurk beneath the surface. The coral reefs, once bustling with life, now bear the scars of this reckless legacy, posing risks to marine life and humanity alike. Every dive into these waters echoes a warning. The allure of beauty conceals a perilous history, reminding the world of the sacrifices made in the name of progress. This persistent threat raises vital questions about the ethics of nuclear testing and the responsibility we owe to future generations. As we reflect on the legacy of Bikini Atoll, we must confront the moral imperative to acknowledge our past. The destructive consequences of nuclear testing teach us that nature, once broken, can be irreparably harmed. Today we stand at a crossroads, with a duty not just to remember but to advocate for the healing of the planet. The echoes of Bikini Atoll resonate, not merely as a historical lesson, but as a call to action for a more responsible coexistence with nature, ensuring that the mistakes of the past are never repeated. The 1970s marked a pivotal moment for Bikini Atoll, an island with a haunting history. After decades of nuclear testing that forever altered its landscape, former residents were granted permission to return to their ancestral home. Hope filled the air as families stepped onto the shores, dreaming of rekindling their lives on the land they once loved. Yet, beneath the surface lay a shadow of secrets, as the specter of radiation loomed ominously over their return. At first glance, the breathtaking beauty of Bikini Atoll seemed inviting. The crystal-clear waters, vibrant coral reefs, and swaying palm trees painted a picturesque scene, the image of paradise. However, scientists soon began monitoring the health of the returning residents, revealing troubling findings. Alarming levels of radiation were detected in their bodies, a grim reminder of the legacy left by nuclear detonations. The joy of returning soon turned to despair as families faced the reality that their beloved island was still tainted by its past. Just years after their hopeful return, the situation grew dire. Evacuations became necessary once again. The dream of a homecoming shattered. It became evident that Bikini Atoll was less a sanctuary and more a ticking time bomb of radioactive history. With each passing day, scientists continued to study the long-term effects of radiation exposure, warning that the island may not be safe for centuries to come. Their findings echoed through communities, amplifying concerns about health risks for anyone who dared to tread on the land they once called home. The plight of the Bikini Atoll residents serves as a stark cautionary tale for future generations. While some are drawn to its beauty, they must heed the warnings of scientists and historians who understand the consequences of its tumultuous past. An island that should embody the spirit of resilience now stands as a reminder of humanity's complex relationship with nature and science. As we look to the future, ongoing discussions around environmental restoration and the safety of such locations play a vital role in ensuring the well-being of both human and ecological systems. Bikini Atoll remains a compelling narrative, reminding us that some places, no matter how alluring, carry burdens we must respect and learn from. The story of Bikini Atoll is a haunting reminder of the consequences of nuclear testing, particularly for its indigenous people. Once a thriving home to vibrant cultures and traditions, The island now stands as a symbol of loss and displacement. In the mid-20th century, the U.S. government conducted numerous nuclear tests in the area, forever altering the lives of its inhabitants. Their ancestral ties to the land were severed, and many found themselves forcibly relocated, grappling with an uncertain future far from their cherished home. Displacement from Bikini Atoll was not merely a relocation, it was a profound cultural rupture. The islanders were uprooted from their sacred lands, stripped of their heritage, and thrust into new environments that felt alien. While they sought refuge on other Marshall Islands, the emotional scars of losing their homeland remained deeply embedded in their identities. The longing for a cultural landscape rich with tradition, stories, and connections to ancestors weighs heavily upon those forced into exile, echoing through generations for decades. In the aftermath of nuclear testing, the plight of the Bikini Atoll people became more dire due to the physical health impacts stemming from radiation exposure. Health issues, including cancers and other long-term ailments, emerged as devastating reminders of what they had endured. Although some have received compensation from the U.S. government, a monetary settlement cannot mend the broken ties to their land or alleviate the profound grief stemming from their displaced lives. The fight for justice and acknowledgement of their suffering continues as many in the community advocate for better health care and recognition of their unique struggles. These unresolved issues reveal a complex narrative intertwined with themes of resilience and endurance. The Bikini Atoll people strive to keep their culture alive despite the adversities faced over decades. Community gatherings, cultural practices, and storytelling have become pivotal in maintaining their identity and bonding with one another. They remind themselves and new generations of their origins, instilling hope amidst their fight against erasure and silencing. Their journey reflects the needs of indigenous communities worldwide as they reclaim rights lost through colonization and exploitation. The tragic history of Bikini Atoll serves to highlight not just the impacts of nuclear warfare on the environment, but also the profound human cost paid by islanders. As they navigate the challenges of compensation, health issues, and cultural dislocation, their resilience shines through. Their story is one that demands recognition, understanding, and respect, ensuring that the true victims of this history are never forgotten. For the people of Bikini Atoll, the fight continues, spurred by a steadfast commitment to their heritage and the desire for justice. Bikini Atoll, a name synonymous with both beauty and tragedy, emerges from the shadows of history as a haunting reminder of the past. Its pristine beaches and vibrant coral reefs paint a picture of paradise, yet beneath the surface lies a tale of nuclear testing and environmental scars. The vibrant life that flourishes in this stunning locale is tempered by the dark legacy of its history, echoing through time. In recent years, Bikini Atoll has transformed into a site of scientific intrigue and ecotourism. Researchers and enthusiasts alike are drawn to its unique ecosystem, eager to uncover the secrets held within its waters. The allure is undeniable. Divers are awestruck by the brilliant marine life and sunken relics of the past. Yet each splash of water speaks of stories left untold. The dichotomy of beauty and danger captivates those who venture into its realm, offering a glimpse of nature reclaiming its space. Despite the appeal, access to many parts of Bikini Atoll remains restricted. Safety concerns surrounding radiation levels mean that exploration must be undertaken with caution. Signs of a bygone era linger, reminding visitors of the weight this land carries. Researchers continue their diligent work, monitoring radiation levels to ensure safety and conducting studies to grasp the long-term effects of nuclear fallout on the delicate ecosystem. Each discovery adds to a narrative, writing a new chapter for an area steeped in both regret and resilience. The indigenous resilience shines through as life perseveres in some of the most inhospitable conditions. Unique species have adapted to the altered landscape, showcasing an extraordinary tenacity. The studies conducted here do not merely highlight the damage inflicted, but also reveal nature's remarkable ability to heal. With every passing year, the ecosystem at Bikini Atoll transforms further, blurring the lines between devastation and recovery. As the world looks toward a more sustainable future, Bikini Atoll stands as both a cautionary tale and a symbol of hope. It compels humanity to reflect on its activities and their repercussions on the planet. The continued research in this striking location fosters a deeper understanding of environmental resilience, encouraging dialogue on safeguarding our ecosystems for future generations. Bikini Atoll is not just a destination, it is an ongoing story of struggle, survival, and the relentless spirit of nature. Grassroots movements and organizations continue to advocate for the rights of those affected by nuclear testing, pushing for reparations, recognition, and the safe cleanup of contaminated areas. The fight for justice for the people of Bikini Atoll is part of a larger struggle for global peace and environmental protection. International conferences have been held to address these issues, fostering dialogue and collaboration among nations. The Treaty on the Non-Proliferation of Nuclear Weapons and other agreements aim to prevent future nuclear conflicts and to hold nations accountable for their past actions. Thank you for joining us on this journey to Bikini Atoll. If you'd like to learn more about the history of nuclear testing and its ongoing effects, be sure to check out the links below. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and share for more explorations into our world's hidden stories.